factcheck.com, Truth or Fiction, Hoax Slayer, and Urban Legends. And just about anything that you read about, you can find on one or more of these 5 platforms. And I, by the way, will post this article up on my Facebook page, Metaphysical Media, which you can access by going to facebook.com/HWilkinsonMedia, and it will take you right to that page. And that page, I always post episodes of this show and supporting articles and things of that nature. So in this research study, they searched for mentions of each of these stories that they'd either verified as true or false, and searched for mentions of them on Twitter's archive. For each mention of a given story, a determination was made as to whether or not the entry was an original tweet or a reply to a different posting, and this allowed the researchers to track how information is propagated through Twitter, and to trace the stories back to their original tweets. It included 126,000 stories, 4.5 million tweets, tweeted 4.5 million times by 3 million different accounts, and they found that instances of legitimate news stories rarely spread past 1,000 people, but false stories could fan out to as many as 100,000 accounts. And this was apparently due not to the personal influence of the individual tweeters themselves, but to the novelty of the story. And this goes back to what I was talking about with news in general, and how news directors and the choices of stories that we hear about or that are presented to us are chosen for their ability to be titillating or have a certain novelty to them, because they're trying to get audiences' attention and ratings. So this study really looks into that. Novel information is thought to be more valuable than redundant information, explains the study's co-author, professor of management at MIT. People who spread novel information content of the stories, and they found that the false stories were indeed designed to provoke, shock, and disgust. A bot detection algorithm was also employed to weed out artificial propagation of stories from the legitimate spread caused by humans, and found that the rate of spread was about the same between machine and man. So bots could not explain this massive difference in the diffusion of true and false news we're finding in our data. It's humans that are responsible. So if you put stories out there that have some sort of shocking value to them, people are more likely to look at them. People are more likely to pass them on than if you hear a story about, how the flu is spread or something like that. So in the meantime, according to this article, it's increasingly essential for the rest of us to be mindful of the information we consume and to question its veracity, especially if it seems to promote something that agrees with our worldview. Because we tend to isolate ourselves in certain ways and be in a bubble and only read about things that kind of verify the way we see the world. And I think we've always been like that. It's just more telling now than it ever has been because of the new media that we have. But the upside of that is that with this new media, we also have many ways of finding out things for ourselves and sorting through things in a way that we never had before. So that's the plus side. But it takes a willingness to say, hey, wait a minute, that something about that doesn't sound right to me. Let's take a look. And as I said, those 5 websites, you can pretty much sort through just about anything. All right, so that is a lot about truth. and or the lack thereof, or the desire for truth, the search for it, and the different kinds of truth that we have. So now I'm going to give you some truth to help you with your self-esteem, because there's some research studies that show that when you reach out to people you don't know, when you assist a friend or family member or a stranger, that you increase your own self-esteem, your own sense of self-worth. And this was a study that was done among teenagers by the Brigham Young University. 681 young people between the ages of 11 and 14 to assess the impact of their self-confidence of helping, sharing with, or comforting others. You know, and these teenage years are really tough years, as anybody who's ever been a teenager knows. They're rough on your self-esteem, and you're developing your self-esteem. But what they found was that the teens felt more confident when helping strangers than they did after assisting a friend or family member. And it was noted that helping strangers doesn't need to be on a grand scale. When teens can see the benefit of their actions, they often realize how much power they have to support others. And she also suggested that a family tradition of helping those who are less fortunate can help instill in children a desire to serve, and as a result, provide a greater sense of self-worth. So as counterintuitive as it might seem, reaching out to those and helping those you don't know doesn't take anything away from you. In fact, it adds to you, your sense of self-worth, when you are being of service to others. Just something to keep in mind. And one other thing we're going to get to today is, it's time for our meditation. See, we've got enough time for our meditation. All right. So this is we're running out of time here. This is a meditation on dealing with a sense of rejection or failure. So after you do some breathing, slow breathing, and paying attention to your breathing, when you feel very comfortable and relaxed, think about the feelings of rejection or failure that you would like to deal with. I'm sure we all have had times when we felt rejected, or a time when you felt like you failed. So think about this event or these events, if there are several of them, and try to remember them in as much detail as you can. Now think about how you felt when the rejection or failure event was happening. What were the emotions that you experienced at the time? What about after the event? What emotions did you have after that occurred? And how are you feeling right now as you think about this? Notice how you feel emotionally and physically in this moment. Now take a look at the thoughts that go along with these emotions. Picture the events when you experience rejection or failure, What kinds of things were you saying to yourself during and after? For example, if you were rejected by a friend who told you that he or she did not want to see you, you may have had thoughts such as, he or she doesn't like me, I'm no good, I'm no fun to be around, no one likes me, I'm a loser. These are the types of negative thoughts that lead to unpleasant feelings. If you want to feel better, you can change the negative thoughts to more realistic ones, and your feelings will become more positive. One way to change negative thinking is through affirmations to build confidence and increase self-esteem. So let's work on that confidence now. Focus again on your relaxing body and calming your mind, and let all your previous thoughts go. Be only in the here and now. Breathe away the thoughts. Just allow them to pass. Let each thought slip away. You don't need to do anything in particular. Just relax. And let your thoughts pass without dwelling on any of them. As you begin to relax, allow yourself to open up to the idea of feeling confident and secure, strong and positive, imagining what it would be like to experience positive feelings and believe positive things about yourself. Imagine what it's like to look at a situation with new eyes, with self-respect. How would you handle your rejection or seeming failure as a self-respecting, competent person, treating yourself with respect and love? Think about the idea of accepting imperfection, of allowing mistakes and learning from them. Think about all the true, realistic things you could tell yourself if you experience rejection or failure. You can tell yourself these types of statements. I can't read people's minds. The thing that happened does not necessarily mean that no one likes me. There are people who care about me. I care about me. I made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. I don't like making mistakes, but I can learn from my errors. I choose to learn from this experience. I have good qualities and I also have flaws. Think about the more positive, more realistic, encouraging statements you could say to yourself. You are a human being, and all human beings go through rejection. All human beings go through failure. It's okay to feel upset, and know that these feelings will pass, and you will soon feel better. Be kind to yourself. Be a support to yourself. When something negative happens, find that a feeling of confidence begins inside and grows. Any negativity in your life can be a trigger for this confidence to grow. Rejection, failure, upsetting events, anything negative in your life can remind you of the feeling of confidence as it grows bigger and bigger. Feel that confidence fully right now, filling you with complete confidence and calm. You can feel good and feel confident even in circumstances that are less than ideal. Negative situations can be a cue for this confidence to grow. Keep a feeling of confidence with you as you complete this relaxation. Take a few moments to reawaken your mind and body. Open your eyes and look around the room, becoming reoriented to your surroundings. Stretch if you want to, and feel your body waking up. When you are fully awake and alert, you can return to your usual activities, feeling confident and calm. So in this way, this is how you know